In the freezing winter of 1811, a group of desperate weavers gathered in the shadows of Nottingham. They weren't mindless brutes who just hated progress. They were skilled artisans who realized that the new wide frames used by factory owners would produce cheaper, lower-quality goods and destroy their livelihood. History calls them Luddites, and we use that word today as an insult for anyone who fears technology. But here is the uncomfortable truth we usually ignore. The Luddites were right. Their specific jobs, their way of life, and their economic value were completely wiped out. It took decades for wages to recover. We are standing at the exact same precipice today, but the drop is much steeper. This isn't about machines replacing muscle. It's about machines replacing minds. For the last 20 years, the financial narrative was simple. Learn to code, get a degree, do knowledge work, and you will be safe from automation. That advice is now a trap. The very skills that commanded six-figure salaries in 2022 are the exact targets of the trillion-dollar algorithms being built today. You need to understand the scale of investment happening right now. It is unlike anything we have seen in the history of modern capitalism or industrialization. Microsoft, Google, and Amazon are pouring over $100 billion a year into capital expenditures. They aren't building warehouses for boxes. They are building digital brains. When a company spends that kind of money, they demand a return on investment. And the only way to get that return is efficiency. Efficiency is just a polite corporate euphemism for firing people. You need to stop looking at AI as a tool and start looking at it as a replacement for labor. Look at what happened with Klarna in early 2024. They announced that their AI assistant was doing the equivalent work of 700 full-time support agents. It handled 2/3 of all customer service chats in its first month. That is not a marginal improvement. That is a complete collapse of the demand for human labor. The terrifying part isn't that the AI was perfect, it's that it was virtually free compared to the cost of paying 700 humans a monthly salary. Corporate balance sheets are ruthless. If a CEO can trade variable operating expenses like salaries for fixed capital expenses like software, they will do it every time. We are watching the decoupling of productivity from employment. In the past, if a company wanted to grow 10 times bigger, it had to hire 10 times more people. That link is broken. Software companies can now reach $1 billion in revenue with a fraction of the headcount required just 5 or 10 years ago. This is the era of the company of one. We are approaching a point where a single talented operator leveraging AI agents can outproduce a department of 50. If you are one of the 50, you are in trouble. The middle management layer is currently being hollowed out because AI solves the coordination problem better. Managers exist to route information. They take orders from the top, break them down, and ensure the bottom executes. AI agents can now do this instantly. Think about the workflow of a standard office job. You read emails, you synthesize data, you create a report, and you send it to someone else for approval. Large language models excel at exactly this loop. They don't get tired, they don't ask for a raise, and they can process the entire history of the company in seconds. The argument that AI hallucinates or makes mistakes is a coping mechanism. Humans make mistakes constantly. We are tired, distracted, and expensive. The cost of intelligence is trending towards zero. When GPT-4 was released, it was expensive. Now, models with similar capabilities are running on laptops. This deflationary pressure on intelligence means your cognitive labor is losing value every single day. Supply is becoming infinite, so the price must drop. Let's look at the creative sector. Writers and artists thought they were safe because they had soul. But the market doesn't pay for soul. It pays for output. Hollywood studios didn't panic during the strikes because they respect art. They panicked because they saw a future where they don't need the writers at all. We are seeing the rise of generative video models like Sora. Soon, a marketing department won't need a videographer, a scriptwriter, and an editor. They will just need one person who knows how to prompt the model. The barrier to entry for creating professional-grade work has been completely demolished. This creates a paradox. It has never been easier to create something amazing, but it has never been harder to get paid for it. Value is shifting to distribution. If everyone can generate a masterpiece, then masterpieces become a commodity. The only thing that retains value is the ownership of the platform itself. Now, follow the money to the hardware. Nvidia isn't worth trillions because gamers need better graphics cards. It's worth trillions because it sells the shovels. Every major corporation is stockpiling these chips to build their own internal AI models. Their goal is to train these models on their own proprietary data. Once they do that, the model knows everything your senior employees know. It knows the code base, the legal history, the sales tactics, and the client list. This is the concept of institutional memory. Previously, if you fired your senior staff, that memory walked out the door. Now, it can be captured in weights. When a company trains a model on your work history, they are essentially digitizing your experience so they can lease it back to themselves for free. You are training your replacement every time you send an email or commit a line of code. The system learns from you until it no longer needs you. Let's talk about the timeline. People think this is 10 years away. It's not. The adoption curve of ChatGPT was the fastest in consumer internet history. The speed of capability improvement is exponential. We went from AI that couldn't understand a joke to AI that can pass the bar exam in 18 months. Financial institutions are already deploying these systems for analysis. JP Morgan Chase developed Index GPT to analyze investments. That used to be a junior analyst job. Entry-level jobs are the first to go. This breaks the career ladder. If you can't get hired as a junior to learn the ropes, how do you ever become a senior? We are facing a barbell economy. On one side, you have the owners of the AI capital. On the other, you have low-wage physical service jobs that are hard to automate. Everything in the middle, the accountants, the coders, the copywriters, the paralegals, is being squeezed into oblivion. The middle class is the target. You might say, but new jobs will be created. Sure, prompt engineer is a job today, but as the models get smarter, they won't need complex prompting. The window for these transitionary jobs is closing before it even fully opens. The AI will eventually learn to prompt itself better than you ever could. We also need to discuss the agentic shift. Right now, most people use AI as a chatbot. You talk to it. But the next phase is agents that take action. An agent doesn't just write the email, it accesses your calendar, books the meeting, updates the CRM, and prepares the briefing document without you. When agents work, they don't need a user interface. They don't need a screen. They just execute tasks in the background, 24 hours a day. This leads to a hyper-efficient corporate structure where a CEO commands a fleet of digital agents. The human layer becomes a bottleneck to be removed. Look at the layoffs in the tech sector throughout 2023 and 2024. Profits were at record highs, yet companies were cutting thousands of staff. Why? They are preparing for this pivot. They are shedding expensive human capital to free up cash for the massive compute costs required to run these models. It is a ruthless calculation. A software engineer costs $300,000 a year. An AI cluster that runs 24/7 costs a fraction of that. Even if the AI is only 80% as good as the engineer today, the cost savings make it a mandatory business decision for any public company. And the AI gets better every month. The engineer gets tired, burns out, and demands equity. The algorithm just optimizes its weights and keeps running. There is a psychological element here too. We are biologically wired to underestimate exponential growth. We think linearly. We think in straight lines. But technology moves in curves. It looks slow, flat, and disappointing for a long time. And then suddenly, it goes vertical and changes everything overnight. We are currently at the knee of that curve. The hallucinations are disappearing. The reasoning capabilities are skyrocketing. The context windows are expanding. Context windows are crucial. It means the AI can remember more. It can now read an entire book or a massive code base and understand the whole picture. This destroys the advantage of human context. You used to be valuable because you knew how the whole system worked. Now, the context window is bigger than your memory. So, what happens to the economy when white-collar work is devalued? We likely face a crisis of demand. If people don't have jobs, they can't buy products. This is the scenario that keeps economists up at night. The deflationary spiral. Prices drop because costs drop, but wages drop to zero for the displaced. Governments are not ready for this. Our social safety nets were built for a world where unemployment was temporary and cyclical, not structural and permanent. Universal basic income is being discussed, not because of kindness, but because it might be the only way to keep the capitalist engine from seizing up. But until that happens, you are on your own. You are entering the most competitive labor market in human history, against an opponent that evolves instantly. The winners in this new world will be the synthesizers, the people who can direct the AI, curate the output, and have the taste to know what is good. Judgment becomes the new skill. Technical execution is free. Knowing what to build and why becomes the only thing that commands a premium price. You have to pivot from being a creator to being an editor. You need to become the director of your own digital symphony, or you will be replaced by it. The illusion of stability is gone. The paycheck you rely on is attached to a role that was designed for a world that no longer exists. The transition will be messy, it will be painful, and it will happen faster than you think. The only variable you can control is how quickly you adapt. If you are waiting for the government to step in and regulate AI to save your job, you are betting against the most powerful economic forces on Earth. If you are waiting for the technology to hit a wall, you are betting against physics and math. The trajectory is clear. The destination is set. The question isn't whether AI will take your job. The question is whether you will own the AI that replaces you, or if you will be the one it replaces. I want you to think about your current daily tasks. Be honest with yourself. What percentage of your day is repetitive, logical, and digital? If that number is over 50%, you are already in the danger zone. You are standing on the tracks, and the train is coming at light speed. So, here is the question I want you to answer in the comments below. Which specific part of your job do you think AI will be able to do better than you within the next 2 years? If you want to stay ahead of this curve and understand the financial reality of the future, please subscribe to the channel. It helps us keep digging for the truth.